Earth Station. This is Juliet Sierra Base with the morning security update. The security situation in Juba is reported calm, with no specific threat to UN and INGO staff members reported. Pedestrians and vehicle traffic flow within the Juba is normal. Staff members are advised to monitor their radios at all times for updates. This is Juliet Sierra Base, standing by.
Violence between rival forces in the capital, Juba, has killed up to 300 people, including 2 UN peacekeepers. South Sudan has only been independent since July 2011, but has experienced more than 2 years of war, stemming from a political rift between the president and his deputy. Here's the peacekeeping chief, Hervé Latsou, addressing the council.
As the Secretary General himself has stated, the Security Council must urgently consider the question of an arms embargo. Clearly, the threat of that has done little to deter the parties, but I think it has to be as clear as possible. Likewise, additional targeted sanctions on leaders and commanders that block the implementation of the peace agreement must be enacted immediately. The never-ending cycle of violence, of devastating violence of South Sudan must come to an end now.
We utterly condemn the deaths of these aid workers. These are people who have been helping the people of South Sudan.
A number of SPLA soldiers arrested the staff member. Under the agreement signed between UNMISS and the government of South Sudan, known as the Status of Forces Agreement, the safety, security and freedom of movement of UNMISS personnel has to be ensured.
A Bangladeshi peacekeeper was killed today during an armed attack on a United Nations convoy that was supporting the delivery of humanitarian aid to vulnerable civilians in the central Equatorian region of South Sudan.
The findings are harsh. There's a high level of cruelty in this war in South Sudan, and what we found was that there were deliberate targeting of civilians in villages around these areas. But the majority of the violations that were documented were the responsibility of the SPLA and proxy youth gangs that they have used against civilians. We have documented targeted killings of civilians, including the most vulnerable, and rapes and gang rapes, all of which would qualify as crimes under international law.
Now the cattle people are using heavy machinery. Where did they get this machinery from? And they are killing their own fellow brothers and sisters. Why?
The UNMISS mandates are the protections of civilians, monitoring and investigating the human rights, creating conditions for the delivery of humanitarian assistance, and supporting the implementations of the cessations of hostilities.
was a great opportunity to see peacekeepers and UNPOL at work serving the people of South Sudan. So many countries were represented: Ethiopia, Rwanda, Ghana, Namibia, Brazil, let me think some more, China, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sweden. Mr. Shearer said that UNMISS was committed to carrying out its mandate and to working alongside the government. And these are his words. So we can do our best for the South Sudanese people.
Today marks the International Day of Peace. On this day each year, we are all meant to come together to celebrate and promote the values of peace across our communities. It is a day to live the universal rights agreed upon by all nations in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That includes the right to live free from fear of violence. I've had the pleasure to visit your country on many occasions. Whenever I visit, I am struck by the power of hope and desire for peace that I encounter across the South Sudanese people. These are important ideas that must result in actions, positive actions that bring communities together. I know that this is possible because I've experienced it myself by working directly with amazing young women and men from South Sudan through my foundation, the Whitaker Peace and Development Initiative. We give young people the tools and skills they need to restore and further develop their communities. With that in mind, I was pleased to see that a peace agreement was signed recently to end long-standing trials in South Sudan. Although much remains to be done, important initial steps are being taken towards peace, reconciliation, and reconstruction. Because of the determination of your people, South Sudan's future will be a bright one. If its people continue on the path toward peace and prosperity, I have no doubt that South Sudan can accomplish incredible things. That is my wish for the people of South Sudan on this, the International Day